In this video we will show you the different works we have been doing in the past 4 weeks in order to make this what used to be a former salt mine, doctor's practice, nursery, into our temporary construction site home, and share with you the different works we have been undertaking, like taking out the sanitaries, replacing the kitchen, installing heating possibilities for ourselves to not be freezing cold, because we started in the month of March and now we just started April, and I'm curious what you think about this transformation.
So the spaces we started to invade used to be, in its last use, a doctor's practice. And so we'll guide you now through to some of those spaces and what we've been doing in them in the past weeks. So this here used to be the waiting room of the doctor, and here we had 2 toilets for the patients. We transformed one of the toilets into our shower and bathroom. Bye-bye toilet. The other remained the toilet. So I can quickly show you how that looks like now after the works. So as you can see now, you see the shower placed in position. We've been putting a little splash wall, and we had to install the whole shower fixtures as well as the water supply, of course. We had to pass through the wall for that. We painted it with a waterproof paint to be able to clean and keep the space more or less moisture free.
So the shower tub we recuperated from the previous flat someone inhabited until December. Now we go to the treasure of the home. Super luxurious toilet. Ta-da! Yes. Aesthetic feasts. Hello Ajibad, what are we going to do here?
We will remove this shower tub to be able to reuse it after thorough clean, of course.
The walls, Ajibad was saying, that are using waterproof paint is latex paint. It's not ideal. The wall beforehand was painted with partly oil paint and partly acrylic paint. So we didn't really see another option right now than giving it another coat of paint that pearls off the water for the time being that we are using these spaces. Unless, of course, tiling, which we thought was a bit of a waste of material and perhaps also a waste of money because we're not planning to stay here very, very long. In almost all the spaces, once we did the water installations as well as the wastewater installations, we decided, out of practical reasons, to keep the pipes visible on top of the wall, so they're connected and held on the wall surfaces, and we didn't hide them inside of the wall, which would have meant that we would have needed to grind out the brickwork, etc., to let the pipe sink into the wall and then close it again with plaster or cement to let them disappear. But finally I quite like the aesthetic of the beautiful copper pipes, and I'm thinking maybe there could be an option for our future home once we install ourselves in our final part of the building. Would you do the same? What would be your idea?
So now we have arrived in a temporary kitchen space, and as you can see, quite some things have happened. We've installed some basic appliances. Of course, we have a sink, we have a washing machine, dishwasher, a surface for now to be able to cook, a fume extractor, and the necessary pipings and tubings, as well as some electricity for our flow water heater that is installed down here, which provides us with some warm hot water.
You forgot something very important. We took down the wall. Our idea is right now to remove this part of the wall, so we have a tiny bit more light coming in here, and then this is going to become our kitchen. So up here you see still the traces. Used to be a drywall which we took out to have a little bit more light than the rest of the space, which is not tidied up right now. So I'm going to change the camera this way.
And so now we can move maybe to the next space where not that much has happened for now, but that's where we made our temporary little dining room. So here we have a puzzle of furniture that were in the space. So here we have some actual medical pieces of furniture that were used by the doctor and that have been transformed into our cupboards for plates and other cups. Then part of that puzzle is also here another drawer that used to contain, I believe, medicaments, if I'm not mistaken.
We don't know. Perhaps it could also be files. I would really not know. If you know, let us know.
And yeah, because we are heating with wood now in most of the spaces, but of course the heat doesn't reach all of those segmented spaces, so we are also still using an additional electric radiator in the morning to warm up the space for breakfast.
Yeah, the entire space is pretty cold, as you may imagine. Also, the months we just passed March, we just started April. In this region, it's pretty okay in terms of temperature. That means in this season, we have right now around 10 degrees during the day, around 2 degrees at night approximately. But you can imagine probably that this building is pretty cold. It will need some time to warm up. So we really feel like in the mornings and evenings we need a little bit of warmth, which is provided, as Archibald just said, with the electric heating, as well as the wooden stove that we are heating up.
The costs related to this small radiator, time will tell, but since we only switch it on in the evenings and the mornings for maximum an hour, we think this should be within reach of what we can afford.
So here we are in our living room / office / evening cozy space, which we heat up mostly and mostly through wood, because here's also our little treasure, the wood stove.
So the stove, we had to follow a few procedures. So we asked permission to use this chimney, for which chimney cleaner passed by to verify first of all the state of the chimney. Then we installed the stove based on criteria he provided. We then did the works to install this stove, and the chimney cleaner had to pass by once more to validate the setup, which he did. And so we're really happy now to be able to use it as is. And in the evenings, actually, we reach quite easily with a few wood fillings, we reach 20 degrees without too much problem. Of course, it's not freezing harsh -degrees at the moment, which of course really helps, but it's very reassuring that we get those livable spaces warm quite well currently with this setup.
I'm very happy personally about this doctor's cabinet that still remained in the space from its ancient past. The lamp I found on a flea market, and I find it extremely beautiful. Archibald is not such a big fan, but I'm sure I can convince him long term.
I like the shape. I'm not such a big fan of the base.
Yeah, okay.
So we have electricity now. A guy just came by to connect whatever electrical connections had to be made in this old electrical switchboard. And so here we go. We have electricity, we have light, we have power for our devices, appliances and machines. So yeah, that's great. As you can see, we have all sorts of light tones, neon tubes, incandescent bulbs, huge mix. So that's very special at the moment. And then we can now start looking also at installing our water boiler. That's the next issue that we're gonna deal with, putting a cable through to connect in the switchboard so we have hot water for showering, for kitchen appliances, etc. So, but it's a big step we made today.
Yeah, our construction site home is therefore as good as inhabitable.
Getting closer there. So ever since we had the first electric installations checked and verified by the electrician, some more modifications have happened. We've been able to install a few circuits on this newer cabinet, which allows us, of course, a more secure setup, but also allows us a better overview on future circuits we would like to install, as well as this electric counter that has been moved from an older setup into this cabinet, which is a more secure cabinet.
This is our temporary storage space in which we store most of the things that we don't have the furniture for or the rooms yet to put them into, so that's where they're. And our temporary guest room, not fully ready yet, but the bed is up, curtains are missing, some furniture perhaps needs to be still emptied. These are just additional bed sheets as one has sometimes. Yeah, that's about it.
So for most of the things that you just saw, we had to start from the cellar because the electricity arrives in the cellar, the water arrives in the cellar, the wastewater drains go down into the cellar and then exit the building. So in order for that to happen, we had to work also a lot down from that scary cellar.
Why is it scary?
You'll see.
Okay, that's really too much. I really didn't know he had such an entertaining soul to him. I'm really discovering Archibald from a complete another angle.
So Teresa was asking, why is this cellar scary? Then let's come. Here lays a dead body. Used to be chicken. I don't know which animal dragged it into the space. You still see some feathers laying around here. And so from here you'll see the actual water pipings that we were talking about and how they are moving into the different spaces that we were guiding you around in, as well as some wastewater drains, some old electric installations that are no longer live because we had them switched off. Here you see the result of the beautiful copper works that had been done to adjust the water pipings in a way that suit the current use.
So today we're busy installing the very first water supply for our new home.
Moment. Eingedreht. Das ist ein Rohrabschneider. So. Macht immer eine Runde rum. Ja, wenn du hier gerade dran hast. Und hier hat sich das ein bisschen gedrückt. Dann, seht ihr das? So. Das mache ich auch nicht gerne. Jetzt muss man das metallisch blank nehmen. Erstmal das Gröbste runterkriegen, weil das muss so blank werden wie voll drin. Wenn ihr euch nicht sicher seid mal bei sowas, dann malt's an.
And I have some really beautiful friends here. Unfortunately, the whole cellar was full of them. These spiders are not alive anymore, luckily. So here we have our main electricity entrance. from which we will be pulling all the cables also for the rest of the building later on, and for which we readjusted the current electric situation for now.
Yeah, so here we have 400 volt cable coming in, which is secured up to 3 times 80 ampere, and from here this upper cable moves into this box, and this is the box to which our current electric circuits are connected, but in the future from there also we can start with the cables as I just explained for whatever other parts of the building.
Let's go further to our water connection.
No, these are not tombstones. Now we are here, we can also briefly point at those 2 lids here, because the chimney on which our wood stove is connected is, this is the chimney, and this chimney has 2 drafting channels, and we are using the right drafting channel here.
The left one, he means. This is our main water inlet. We had a bit of an issue here because it was not fully watertight. It seems like it has been frozen in somewhere in the past, and the main water counter needed to be exchanged, which just happened yesterday. So basically, I don't know how it works in other countries right now, because I've never owned a home anywhere else apart from renting flats until now. But until this meter, basically, this is all property of the water supply agency here in this area, and they're responsible for exchanging whatever needs to be exchanged, and it depends on whose fault it is that something breaks. It's either on our costs or on their cost. What else is there to say? Yeah, we had a bigger water output here, which we exchanged with more narrow
22 millimeter copper tubing here.
This guy shows us the water pressure.
Or used to, because I don't think it's
not
actually
working
working.
anymore. These alcoves, they were enclosed with wooden gates, which we have been starting to take down. There's a few more that we still need to work on, but we gave it a start, which supplied us with a significant amount of wood that we are using right now to heat our office living room with, and that's how they look like right now. So that was our little tour about the small transformations, at the same time some heavy duty work that we have been going through in the past 4 weeks. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. We would be really eager to learn and to hear what you would have been doing, and what you maybe would also advise us to do if we are continuing our works. And in general, also, if you would like to know more about our plans and what we are actually going to do with these buildings that we are transforming right now, stay tuned, hit the subscribe button
Down below.
follow us for more.